Hey fans, Jay Wellington Rollfield here to bring you this month's video review. You may remember last year's review on Penny Arcade's on the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3. If not, go ahead and click here, or maybe there, or wherever I happen to put a link. Maybe in the description, maybe, I don't know, in a folder on your desktop. Maybe I'm a hacker, who knows. But go watch that because you'll want some background on this month's game. The Tomes of Rain-Slick have been closed with the 4th game in the series. Now, should the series have been left unfinished, or did they actually improve on last year's game?
When we last left our intrepid heroes...
Spoiler alert for the game you should have played last year.
Tycho died. Turns out though, when you destroy the world, the only place left to go is Underhell, a place all Brahes wind up eventually. Fortunately, everyone else did as well, so separated into 2 different groups, Gabe and Dr. Blood worked toward finding Tycho as Moira and Jim, who now has a body made out of sweet green flan, try to do the same. Eventually, the plan becomes clear to bring down the pillars of Overhell to kill the final god keeping the universe together. Altogether, a terrible idea if you ask me, since that basically ends all of existence, but, you know, if the world's already gone, I mean, why not go all the way?
The series' high-quality writing is still present in this title, though less so. Last year I raved about Jerry Holkins' ability to create worlds, but this game just felt small. And maybe it's because there was a time crunch, I don't know, but maybe it was because there was only one setting left to write about in the entire universe, but everything felt less so. In the previous game, I felt like my story was one of just many stories going on around in this crazy world, but this time it felt like everything was a vehicle for the plot, something the player should never be aware of. It's almost as if the ending became more important than the actual story. Like, okay, I just need to get to this ending, however we need to get there, it doesn't really matter. And I didn't really like that. Although the clever descriptions and all the jokes and dialogue are fantastic, just the plot had something lacking.
The battle mechanics are the same as its predecessor, with the weight and command bar, interrupts, and class perks, but with a twist. You don't actually play as your characters, but rather monsters that you catch. Though this may remind you of Pokemon on the surface, it really shouldn't. There's no actual catching, they just kind of join you most of the time, and if you do get an optional one, it's like finding an item. There's no real meaning to these creatures beyond their built-in skills, which is disappointing. Something about fighting with the actual characters just feels better. And in the current setup, the characters and their accompanying monsters don't really matter in the battle scenarios, and the monsters certainly don't matter to the plot, so why even have them? I much prefer the pin system in Rain-Slick 3 to this mediocre substitute.
Even with all of that going against it, there were still 2 things that made my heart soar about this game, and both of them have to do with the world map. Yes, that's right, there's actually a world map. No traversal system, just a map you can walk on. No map with destinations that you have to click on to go, like in Final Fantasy X. Blech. You can actually walk on the world. It's so much better. Thank you, Z-Boyd. This doesn't get done enough in RPGs these days. Ni no Kuni just recently did it. I don't know why. Everything feels so much freer when you can actually walk around the world. It's fantastic. It's like a weight has been lifted off your chest, like the feeling you get after a large man hugs you real tight and then finally lets go. Looking at you here, Colonel. And as promised in the interview I got with them at PAX East, there is a flying mechanic! It's like, can you get any more better, Z-Boyd? Thank you so much for returning me to a system that makes sense and is fun. Even though you only get the flying mechanic toward the very end of the game, it's still so beautiful. And I missed it so much. Thank you, Z-Boyd.
One thing I really wish they would have improved upon is the attack animations. Just for clarity, here's a Final Fantasy VI battle animation, and here's one from Rain-Slick 4. The 2 just really don't compare. This lack of fanciness can be attributed to the fact that it's just 2 people creating most of the game, 1 programmer and 1 artist. And when you tell an artist, hey, I really want you to create a super cool, fancy, pixel art animation of some ice going all pow-pow, and they look at their schedule and already want to die, the answer is generally, nah, I'm cool. On a side note, once you get to the end game, you can't leave. If you complete the game, you don't get to go to a safe area outside of the end game. If you try to leave, it doesn't work, so sorry if the levels here aren't that varied, but when you can't leave the area you're in, you gotta work with the limited set of resources. The area they did improve upon drastically was the music. Remember this? It's gone! Listen to this! I'd headbang alone in my house to this! But can the incredible music and few improvements outweigh the drawbacks of this game? Is it really a worthy conclusion to the series?
Honestly, I wish they had done a better job. Granted, I've only played Rain Slick 3, but I still had high hopes for this game. Between the world feeling kind of flat and bland, and the animations not really being up to par, and the stupid monster system, and the story ending too quickly for my liking, it just felt less than it could be. Like there was more game to dig out of there. But the improvements that they made to the game were fantastic, don't get me wrong. The music is phenomenal. It's like the best part of this game. The world map just made me so happy. So, I mean, you have to sort of take the good with the bad here. If you really want to play this game, play Rain Slick 3 first. I mean, you have to play that game in order to actually play this game. You're not going to understand anything. So go play Rain Slick 3. Absolutely 100% for sure play Rain Slick 3. And then, if you really want to finish the story, Rain Slick 4 is your best bet. It's kind of like Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 2, you know? Uncharted 2 was such a masterpiece. It was wonderful. And Uncharted 3 was still a good game. It was just, you know, less than Uncharted 2. It's still sort of living in the shadow of its predecessor. But still, Rain Slick 4 is a pretty good game, and if you want to finish the series, I definitely recommend it. This has been Jay Wellington Romefeller bidding you a good evening of good gaming.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see some more reviews, you can click below for our Dungeon Land review or a Warframe review. I'm gonna shut up now so you can listen to this awesome music.